Welcome back, Ospreys. I'm Ryan Hennessy alongside Alex Gatlin for Center Court with Matthew Driscoll. Coach is not here today on the road, playing Lipscomb, Kennesaw State and Lipscomb this weekend, so it's going to be a tough road. But talking about a tough weekend last weekend, FGCU, down in Fort Myers, UNF played them. What did you see out of that game? Didn't come up as the victorious team, obviously, but what did you see? 81-65 FGCU.
Well, what I saw is what happens normally for the Ospreys is they seem to start out really hot late, but early in the game they don't have anything. And what was a key thing here was they didn't have a big man, and Mark Eddie Norelia just destroyed them inside. I won't say destroyed, but he really had their way with them, and they really could not shoot the three to save their lives that night. They shot, I think, something like 28% from three.
And you talk about not having a big man. What does that do for UNF? I mean, obviously, we talked about last week with Bo Beach on our show. What does not having a big man do for the Ospreys? Romello Banks redshirted out for the season. How does that affect UNF? I mean, it's tough. It's tough having a guy who usually plays the 2 go now to the 4, the 5, and foul trouble's hurting us. Go ahead. Tell me.
Well, you see them switch to like more of a 7-man lineup, and the fact that you lose one of your rim protectors and rebounders, it's a huge loss for the team not having Mello out there. And also having to put Bo Beach in a position to where he's going to get 4 easy fouls and then be in foul trouble for the entire game, and it really hurts the team. So the team is really missing Mello. He was going to kind of be, I won't say Dwight Howard, but he was going to be that big man to surround all the shooters around and really get in there and protect the rim and protect the team almost. But yeah, they're really missing him so far this season, but hopefully he'll be back and ready to go for next season. Yeah,
unfortunately, you know, that's going to hurt us. You see the stats. I mean, every game, every year he was getting better. I think this would have been, we talked about maybe his breakout year. Now he's going to be redshirted coming back as a junior next year. But Bo Beach, we talked about, some people were in the crowd, Alex. Do you want to tell us about who was in the crowd during that Saturday game, though?
There were a couple scouts from both the Heat and the Celtics who were there to see him. Apparently, Bo Beach is starting to pick up some NBA attention now. So look for him in the next draft possibly, or possibly getting picked up as a free agent. So I think that's pretty exciting for all of us here at UNF.
That's pretty cool. 6'8". I mean, he's got the size for it.
He's got the size, and he showed some explosiveness. He had a great dunk coming from the baseline as well. So that was very nice for the scouts to see that he has that ability. He made a couple mistakes in that game, a couple turnovers, a couple forced shots. But Bo played pretty decent. He had 20 points overall, 9 rebounds. So, yeah, I think he impressed the scouts a good amount.
So we talked about the loss, how much that hurts the Ospreys, and I think it really, you know, kind of puts us in a tough position. And we talk about that JU game. Last regular season game of the season, JU is now catching up on us for first place. And when you get first place in the conference, we all know that you host the conference tournament. We did that last year. Does JU do it? So is that game, last game of the season, going to be the game deciding who gets home court advantage in the playoffs? Because a bunch of people are already saying we got to go to that game. We have to go to that JU game. We need to pack the stands. We need to be a presence because that's going to be huge. What do you think about that? Is that game going to be?
Well, I really hope that game comes down to it because that would be so much fun.
Yeah.
But, you know, from a fan's perspective, I hope it comes down to it. From a team perspective, I don't hope it comes down to it. But I think the Ospreys going into JU, that might be a little bit of a tough test. They're definitely going to need everything they can get from their team. Maybe get a little bit from Odom as well. You saw they went to him.
They did put him in.
When Bo got in foul trouble. So that was kind of nice to see a little bit of a new face out there and get some more people into the lineup. But, yeah, that'd be a lot of fun to watch. And, you know, put it this way, either way, the ASUN Championship is looking like it's going to be in Jacksonville again this year.
Yeah, I just hope it doesn't come down to that game. I mean, that's going to be something that I'm a little nervous about. But at JU, you know, we beat them, but they beat Stetson, who beat us. So it's just a weird way that you never know what could happen.
Yeah.
Any game. I mean, we beat FGCU, and then they just beat us at home. Home court advantage is a huge. So I hope we get that home court advantage. I know Coach is definitely going to stress that. These 2 games right now are key this weekend. Going away, you know how tough it is to play away, but. Yeah, so we're going to take a quick break. When we come back on Spinnaker Television, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl and a little bit of NBA action. We'll be right back. Ryan Hennessy alongside Alex Gatlin, Center Court with Matthew Driscoll.
heard you've been spending a lot of time at your auntie house. How's the couch life?
Yeah, my woman and my baby living there. It's hard, man. But you know, everybody can't do what you do.
Really, what I do getting played out, Dre. Where the money at?
But why you gotta be so ruthless, cuz?
I'll make a few changes.
Where you think you going? I'm just trying to get home.
That's my son. You need to get back in the house or I will ruin your night.
I gotta talk to my moms like that.
You had the chance to change the situation. Would you take it?
Just hit that first beat hard. All right, you cruising down the street.
All right. Cruising down the street in my 6'4".
Hey, that was dope, eh?
You're listening to Compton's very own Ice Cube, Eazy-E, and Dr. Dre. I gotta tell you, you are witnessing history.
People are scared of you guys. You have a unique voice. The world needs to hear it.
They want NWA? Let's give them NWA.
Straight out of Compton, crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube.
This is only the tip of the iceberg, gentlemen. What's going on? What do you have in that bag?
Are you kidding me?
You can't take that in the bus.
When I'm called off, I got a sawed off. Squeeze the trigger and bodies all hauled off.
Your songs glamorize gangs and drugs.
Our art is a reflection of our reality.
You guys supposed to be somewhere?
These are artists. Rap is not an art.
You cannot come down here and harass my clients because of what they look like.
I promise you, things gonna be different from here on out.
Listen, to be honest with you, I don't know anything about hip-hop, but I know that you're special.
You want to be involved with this gangster life? Here we go.
Speak a little truth and people lose their mind.
This isn't the Crips and Bloods. This is a threat from the federal government.
They're trying to tell us what we can't play. This man driving you what? Yo, Dre.
What up?
I got something to say.
We can keep going, man. We can take over the goddamn world.
Feel a little gust of wind and on deck. Believe a memory, no one will be forgetting. So as I leave, believe I'm stomping. But when I come back, boy, I'm coming straight out of Compton.
One day I'll remember. Remember everything that happened. The good, the bad. Those who survived, and those that did not.
Home is behind, the world ahead, and there are many paths to tread. Through shadow to the edge of night, until the stars are all alight. Mist and shadow, cloud and shade.
Will you have peace or war?
All shall fade.
I will have war.
All shall fade.
Will you follow me? One last time.
We're back here on Spinnaker Television. Ryan Hennessy alongside Alex Gatlin. can't talk about how big the game was Sunday. I always talk about big games, but talk about the biggest game of the year, the Super Bowl. Broncos coming out on top. Peyton Manning winning his second Super Bowl with the score 24-10, but that was all defense.
That defense came out on fire, and they came out ready to go, too.
I mean, but you talk about Peyton Manning first. I don't want to obviously everyone's talking about him, but we want to talk about the defense as well. But Peyton Manning winning his second Super Bowl, what does that mean to his legacy, and where does that put him in the top quarterbacks? I mean, who do you have top 3 quarterbacks?
My top 3 would probably go Montana at 3. At 3. Montana at 3. Brady at 2 and Manning at number 1. And the reason why is you look at his stats, we'll show him in a little bit, but he was first in so many categories and 4th in completion percentage. Not to mention, this game actually ended up being 14-13 in the postseason and his 200th career win, making him the all-time winningest quarterback in NFL history with 1 over Brett Favre. So I got to put Manning there. Everybody talks about how he's poor in the postseason. It just doesn't end up being well for him. But he ended up with a winning record, and that's huge. You're looking at it right now with 1st in passing yards, 1st in touchdowns, 4th in completion percentage. He's got 5 MVPs and 2 Super Bowls. That's unbelievable. Nobody matches that. That MVP is the most that anybody's ever had. So, yeah, I got to put Peyton Manning as my number 1.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest question that people had, I know, is could he get it done in the playoffs? He got, couldn't get to that, couldn't win that big game, or couldn't 4 Super Bowls. Now he's won 2 of them. That's really kind of hushed the people that were kind of doubting him. And I think, he definitely will be in the top conversation. But I still have Montana at 1. I have Brady at 2 because of not the numbers, but the winning percentage, and the winning percentage in the Super Bowls. Obviously, the Giants kind of, got Brady a little bit. But if Brady won those 2 games, he would have been considered even the best ever.
He might actually be the best ever if he had won those 2 games, because think about how many Super Bowls that puts him
Exactly.
at.
That would be 6, which is ridiculous.
That's unbelievable.
But I still have Montana and Brady in front of him. But I'm a huge Peyton Manning fan. I think this puts him top 3. With the numbers, I think it's just so impressive. But talking about that defense, that's really where the credit should go. That defense isn't the best ever, because that defense was lights out against a very, very good MVP Cam Newton and that offense. What do you think? Best ever? I mean, is it?
I don't know if I'll go with best ever, but they are definitely up there. They are definitely one of the best. Their stats this season were something like 4th in points, 1st in yards allowed, 1st in passing yards allowed, 3rd in rushing yards allowed. Now we've got the postseason stats up here. They only allowed 14.67 points per game and had 7 turnovers caused. And in that Super Bowl, they were all after Cam Newton. If the play was over, they would still try to rip the ball out and make him feel uncomfortable. That was the biggest thing I noticed from that defense, is they were just in there to make Cam Newton feel uncomfortable.
Obviously, hats off to Von Miller, but you talk about Cam Newton. Did he, as the MVP, he won it the night before, did he have an extra set of pressure? Could he not live up to the pressure? Or was it just that defense was too good? I mean, there's 2 things there. Was Cam's performance poor, or was that defense just good? Or was it a little bit of both?
I think it was a little bit of both, because I thought that defense played really well. But at the same time, Cam Newton came out and he was overthrowing his receivers. If you watch the first couple passes, and even later on into the game, he was overthrowing his receivers. So I think Cam kind of struggled in this game, and he never really could get it going. And also, it showed with this team how much he needs Kelvin Benjamin.
Yeah.
Because his receivers came out and they couldn't do it for him.
And you talk about that defense with the great corners on both sides, Talib and Harris, and the way they played him on defense was so impressive. They didn't let him get out of the pocket. They collapsed him in the pocket. Cam wanted to prove to people that he was a pocket passer who could run with some 4.3, 4.4 speed. And he really wanted to prove that he was a pocket passer. So he stood in there, and the Broncos defended him like that. The corner rushers, obviously Von Miller on one side and DeMarcus Ware on the other, with those inside guys, they rushed him great.
Oh, yeah.
And they were at him the whole time, and he was.
And then they had Brandon Marshall play there and spy him the entire game.
And he didn't run that much. I mean, he had his 10 there, but I mean, he didn't play like. Let's talk about Deshaun Watson playing in that.
Yeah.
That was more of an impressive thing than the MVP did. So will Cam be back? That's my question. Will he be back in the Super Bowl, and when? I mean, great team. Guy's young. Got a young team around. Will he be back?
I think they will be. This happens. It's his first Super Bowl. He gets a little jitters. Now he has the experience. And coming into next season, he's going to have the wide receiver too. So he is actually going to have a weapon out there other than Greg Olsen and the occasional Ted Ginn Jr. when he actually catches the ball. So I think that they'll be back. It just depends on how quickly they rebound, because this was a tough loss. To come in there with only one loss on the season and lose by 2 touchdowns is pretty big.
Yeah. Well, you talk about next year. Do you think he'll be back? Like, where do you see?
See, I don't have them as my team coming out of the NFC for next season. I think that's going to be the Cardinals, just because I think the Cardinals have the best talent in the NFL, probably behind the Bengals. Those are the top 2 teams when it comes to talent-wise. But I think they will make a run at it again. I don't think this is going to be a one-and-done type of team.
I agree. But so early Super Bowl picks, obviously way early. You don't know what's going to happen in the offseason, who's going to get hot, who's going where in the draft. But who do you have in the Super Bowl next year?
I'm going to go with Patriots and Cardinals. I think the Patriots and Cardinals are going to be a great Super Bowl matchup. And you get Carson Palmer versus Tom Brady.
I'm going to go with Carolina coming back.
Okay.
And I'm going to have Tom Brady playing them.
So either way, the Patriots are in.
Patriots are in, and I see Tom Brady winning it.
All right.
And I see Cam Newton having an issue of can't getting it done.
Do you think if Tom Brady wins this one, it's his last season, or do you think he's going to continue?
He's going to go to his 45.
He's going to go to his 45.
He's going to go to 45.
Okay.
I think. That's my opinion. But we're going to take another quick break on Center Court on Spinnaker Television. Ryan Hennessy, Alex Gatlin. We're going to talk about some NBA. Derek Fisher got fired. Our Orlando Magic won a couple. Right back on Spinnaker Television.
You're watching Spinnaker Television.
Do you ever think modern life is not for you? Do you do the same dead-end job every day?
There's no I in team, but there is an I in pie. There's an I in meat pie. So the anagram of meat is team. I don't know.
Is your love life dying on its feet?
To a wonderful mum.
Oh. Have you ever felt that you're turning into a zombie?
Although no one is prepared to comment, religious groups are calling it Judgment Day.
Crisis.
It is vital that you stay in your homes.
A hero must
And
rise
avoid all contact with the assailants.
from his sofa.
The attackers can be stopped by removing the head or destroying the brain.
Go for the head. Purple Rain? No. Sign of the Times? Definitely not. The Batman soundtrack. Throw it.
The biggest zombie comedy in British history is invading America.
I'm coming!
And if you're looking for a man
I've taken a shortcut before.
with the right moves,
Nice, good vocal work. Let's all try it together, shall we? 1, 2.
the right lines,
The only thing that will redeem mankind is cooperation.
and the right partner.
Ed!
2 seconds.
And hold it there.
Don't
Oh, sorry.
call Sean.
Oi!
Sean.
Oh.
Shaun of the Dead.
He's my husband, you know. I still love him. I've still got the ring on my finger.
You go to bed with it?
I've never seen anything like this.
Just tell us what you know about how these deaths occurred.
The 6 members of the family were found last night in bed, shot and killed.
Isn't it unusual to have 6 members of a family on 2 separate floors, shot, and nobody moved from their beds?
Police have charged 23-year-old Ronald DeFeo Jr. Accused claims he heard voices coming from within the house telling him to murder his family.
And we're back here on Spinnaker Television. Ryan Hennessy alongside Alex Gatlin. No Coach Driscoll, but
We'll manage.
We'll deal with it. We're doing all right so far.
we're doing okay.
Alex only messed up a couple times. I never mess up. I'm just kidding. But Derek Fisher, NBA coach for the New York Knicks and the old point guard for the Lakers. His coach, Phil Jackson, now is the executive and general manager of the Knicks. Hired him 2 years ago to be the head coach. Derek Fisher left the NBA to become a head coach. I don't think he wanted to leave right away, but he had a good opportunity in New York.
I think Derek Fisher thought he had a few more years to play. That was when he was with Oklahoma City, and he was with a team that could actually make a run. And, all those players are trying to get as many championships as possible. He has 5 himself.
Yeah.
So it might have been a little premature for him to come out, but I think Derek Fisher was actually a good coach. We're throwing up his stats right now, and you look at the improvements that he's made, and the team it looks like they're doing better this year. They picked up the unicorn, and he's been playing great.
Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah, Porzingis.
We're talking about, obviously, Derek Fisher just got fired. I didn't bring that up. So that's probably that's a topic of it, is Derek Fisher getting fired after only 2 years. You talked about his numbers went up, but do you think he would have led this team in the right direction? I mean, the East is easy. They were still in the hunt.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a little premature, to be fairly honest with you. And even Phil Jackson came out and recently said that he thought he could have been a better mentor to Derek Fisher. But I thought it was premature. I thought the team was actually improving. You're looking at it right now. They've already improved on their win-loss total. They still have a lot of games left in the season. They're averaging almost 100 points per game, and they're up in field goal percentage. So I thought he had the team going in the right direction.
And plus, I mean, he had Aaron Aflalo as their third best player. I mean, you draft Kristaps Porzingis better than anyone expected. I mean, he got booed at the draft, and I think, with Carmelo Anthony aging, the panic button was hit, and I think they were kind of like, we need to win now, or else Carmelo will leave us. So that's kind of why Phil Jackson did this now. It wasn't working. They weren't a dominant team in the East, and they want to do it now. So, will they be better? We'll see. I don't know. I think they're going to look again in the coaching. They got an interim coach, Mark Rambis, I believe.
Kurt Rambis. Kurt Rambis, former Laker great.
Yeah, and so now they're going to try to see if he works out. And I like the way they do interns, because if it works out, he's their coach. But if not, they just hire someone next year.
Well, have you heard who really wants the job?
Rodman. No, wait. 50.
It was a Bull. 50, it was a Bulls guy.
No, I thought it was the Spurs.
No, it was Bulls. He used to be the Bulls coach. Tom Thibodeau said he'd crawl to New York. He said he'd crawl to New York for that job.
That would be a good
one. So I think that'd be a great fit, because they've gone offensive. Now they can go with a defensive-minded guy.
Because David Robinson tweeted at the Knicks saying, "I'm here if you need me." I mean, I don't know what that meant, but I don't know.
Can you imagine having the Admiral as your coach?
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be so cool. But obviously, the Eastern Conference isn't as powerful, but our Magic got 2 big wins against the Hawks. They were first place last year in the Eastern Conference, and Nick Vucevic, a really good young.
Seems like he keeps doing this. He keeps hits
a game winner for the first game in Orlando, and then they go to Atlanta the next night, and they beat him in overtime. Mario Hezonja, our draft pick, hit in a game leading 3, and then they came back and tied it, went into overtime. But I really think the Magic are young, but I want to see one of these guys have a breakout. It's like all these rookies are like 10 points per game, 11 points per game. Have a breakout. What do you see the Magic this year?
Well, what I've seen recently is the fact that the Magic have just been swindling their number 5 pick. They haven't played him at all. Mario Hezonja has sat the bench. I don't understand why you would use a number 5 pick on a guy and then not play him at all. Tobias Harris has been playing poorly this season. And they're thinking about trading him now, but I just think they need to put Hezonja out there. Let him trial by fire. Let him learn.
Can they make a playoff push?
No. I'm a diehard fan. No.
We talked about this last week with Bo and Aaron. We're all Magic fans, but we just don't see it this year for them, man. It's just that
all right. So they have all the talent in the world. There's so much talent on that team, and I think eventually they're going to be one of the better teams in the East.
Yeah.
It's not saying much, but still.
Exactly.
They'll be a team that I'll be able to enjoy in April and May. So that'll be fun for once. But I just don't see it right now.
They need a game changer, and they can't have their center be the guy.
What would be great? Somehow or another, the lottery gets rigged like it does every year, but towards Orlando's favor. Yeah, that'd be nice.
That'd be really nice. But It was a good week for ballers, and it was a good week for dudes, though. I mean, definitely not the Magic as the ball. They were kind of ballers.
They were baller. They had 2 wins against a team in their division even.
Yeah.
That were pretty good.
But we're not putting them down either for either of them. Ballers and dudes, a segment. Coach Driscoll said a couple last year around this time. There's ballers and there's dudes. Ballers are the good guys. Dudes are the not so good guys. Alex, what are you writing down? Who you got as your baller?
I have the man, the legend, the sheriff, Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, this might be it. This might be it from one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, the guy who I put as the #1 greatest quarterback of all time. I couldn't see a more fitting way for him to go out, honestly. I mean, granted, he wasn't the game changer. It was Von Miller. It was DeMarcus Ware. But still, man, look at the career. Look at all the numbers that he's put up.
And the class throughout the whole time.
Oh, I mean,
just a class act. I agree.
And the pizza, too.
And the
Papa
pizza.
John.
Did you see the Papa John's guy?
Yeah,
he gave him a hug right after.
He gave him a little kiss, too. Did you see that?
Man. Yeah. They're boys. But
what do you got?
For my baller, I think it wouldn't be, sorry about the smudge right here, but it wouldn't be fitting for Peyton to win without this guy. Von Miller, defensive player and MVP of the Super Bowl, had 2 forced fumbles on Cam Newton, the MVP, and one of them for a touchdown. Impressive game. And the cool thing about him was he was the 2nd overall pick right behind Cam Newton. And it's fitting how he pretty much dethroned Cam Newton of that Super Bowl.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Von Miller, definitely the baller of the game. He's either going to get franchise tagged or get signed for a lot of money.
Either way, he's going to be a Bronco next year. There's no way they let that guy go.
Absolutely. Absolute baller, absolute baller. But talking about your dudes, not so good guys, this guy's still in the media.
I do not understand it with this guy, but my dude this week is Johnny Manziel. Man, why can't you stay out of trouble? Why? You got so much talent and you just can't stay out of trouble. Not to mention now there are reports coming out that you were involved with a domestic violence suit in Dallas. What's up, man?
Yeah.
You have one job to do. You could make millions from doing that. More money than what your family has right now, but you instead decide to party it up, come to work drunk. You think you're going to keep your job? No one gets to keep their job if they come to work drunk. I wish I could do that. That'd be kind of fun, right? No, you got to come to work, get your job done, and then go out and have fun. Celebrate once you're winning.
Yeah, he had it in the bag. He had the organization. He was going to be the starter. But,
he was going to be the guy. They wasted a #1 pick on him.
Yep.
He had leverage against them. All he had to do was not mess up.
Yeah. So my dude, right?
Dude.
Sorry, it gets confusing. Derek Fisher. You had the chance. You had a pretty decent in Carmelo Anthony first coaching gig in the Big Apple. It's not easy, but getting fired is not.
He's got a lot of pressure in that city.
Yeah, he's got a lot of pressure, but didn't work out. Phil Jackson was not having it in New York. So, but next week's homecoming week, big week for the Ospreys. 2 games, playing tomorrow night and Saturday as well. Ryan Hennessy alongside Alex Gatlin on Spinnaker Television. Have a great weekend, Ospreys. We're out.